Om. 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 Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vakratunda Mahakaya, Surya Koti Samaprabha, Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva, Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada, Saraswati Namastubhyam, Varade Kamarupini, Vidyarambham Karishyami, Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada. Om Shri Matre Namaha. So, firstly, um, verses 77, 78, very, very difficult to explain. Uh, so, I'll see what I can do with that. But we have to firstly understand the difference between Advaitic thinking and Tantric thinking. And Soundarya Lahari predominantly, although because of the fact that Shankaracharya was a Advaiti, but he was also a Tantric. And therefore, with the combination, he has, at least in the first 40 verses, we are very clearly seeing the Advaitic viewpoint. But when you move to the next part, the description part, you see a lot of almost erotic descriptions, almost on the verge of erotic descriptions. Now, what is this and why is this? See, Tantra, the difference between Advaita and Tantra is that the goal is the same, right? The goal is moksha. And the definition of moksha, see, okay, first let us look at what does any philosophy in the Sanatana Dharma look at? Sanatana Dharma tries to answer any philosophy you want to follow, will try to answer who are you? Number one. What is this world? Number two. What is your relationship with this world? Number three. Why is what is happening? Why does it happen? And what, number three. Number four. What is liberation? What is the release from this world? And how to attain it? What is the definition of release and how to attain it? Now, in the Dvaita school, who are you? You are a jiva, made out of a completely different essence from the rest of the world. Sankhya says you are Purusha, rest of everything is Prakriti. Right? Who are you? They try to answer. Then it says, what is this world? So this world, according to Dvaita, will be saying it is nothing but a manifestation of the your essence in some way or the other. Advaita will go ahead and say this all is temporary. It is only a projection. It is what you created in your mind. It is real as long as you are attached to the mind. It is very, very much real. But essentially, if you go into the depth of its actual nature, you will find that it is not there. What is this world? What is my relationship with this world, or how do I conduct myself in this world will obviously depend upon the definition that is coming from there. Then the question will be, what is moksha? So the moksha will be, according to the Dvaita school, will be you will go there and you will do seva. You will go to Vaikuntha Loka, you will do seva. You will go to Kailasha, you will become a Gana and you will do seva. According to Vishishta Advaita, you will go there, you will do seva, and ultimately you will merge. According to Advaita, there is no moksha. You are already free. So the definition, and then therefore, how do you go there? According to Dvaita, it will be according to service. In Vishishta Advaita, it will be doing upasana. And according to Advaita, it will be according to by lighting the knowledge, by igniting knowledge. Tantra takes a very interesting view. Its definition of moksha is the same as Advaita. Its definition is exactly the same as Advaita. You are already free. You are nothing but the essence. But because you are so closely identified with your body, mind, intellect, you need to follow through the process of Dvaita to move to Vishishta Advaita to go to Advaita. You cannot jump to Advaita directly. Tantra says this. You cannot suddenly say, okay, now let me become an Advaiti. Brahman Satya, Jagan Nitya. Suddenly you decide, right? Your decision is not going to change anything in you. You have only made some noise. Like Arjun in chapter 2, in chapter 1 and chapter 2. Krishna even mocks him and says, you are making noises like a very wise man. So we will make noises like a wise person, but we will not be actually wise. We will see in 77, we will see a word, Sudhi. Sudhi. Dhi means brain. Sudhi, good brain. Right? Good intellect, not brain, intellect. Good intellect. Sudhi. So similarly, that Sudhi to come, it needs to go through the process of purification. Hence, you visualize a form and a power outside you. When you visualize this form and power outside you, form and power, the words itself in Sanskrit are feminine in nature, Shakti. Hence, in most descriptive tantras, most of them, there is a Vaishnava tantra, there is a Ganapatya tantra, there is a Surya tantra, all of them have tantra, right? All the Shanmata, not the Shanmata, Subramaniam does not have any tantra, but the others. So there is a Saurya tantra, Vaishnava tantra, there is a Shakta tantra is obviously there, Shaiva tantra is there, Ganapatya tantra is also there. So there are tantras in all the earlier 5 schools. 6th school got introduced by Adi Shankaracharya. And then he combined all of them 6 to say that they all are aiming at the same. Therefore, Shanmata Aikya Karaka is one of his names. When you do Archana to Adi Shankara, you say Shanmata Mata Aikya Karaka. He united all the 6 fighting groups. Vaishnavas fighting with Shaktas, fighting with Shaivas. He united all of them. So this whole concept of Tantra, therefore, does not deny this existing world. And it says everything in the existing world can become a tool for you to go beyond it. So everything becomes a tool. So then extreme forms of Tantra also developed. Extreme forms, they were called Vama Marga. Vama Marga Tantra took 5 makara. Meena, Matsya, Mamsa, Mudra, Mithuna, and Mother. So liquor, fish, meat, sex, and Mudra is meant to be wealth, coins. So Mudra. It also means hand mudras, but it's not, that is not the contextual meaning. They took all of these and they said, even sex has to be transcended. It has to be used and transcended. Liquor has to be used and transcended. Wealth has to be used and transcended. So the whole process was to be transcending. Now, what happens is, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa says that this path is meant for those people who have extreme virya. They are extremely brave. And they are the ones who can go into this path. We are not of that category. And therefore, Vama Marga is closed for us. So then what do we do? There is called Dakshina Marga. What is Dakshina Marga? The Marga of Puja. So what do? You visualize the mother in all her beauty. You take every element of her beauty, look at the erotic part of it, and then transcend it by saying, oh, it is actually my mother's. So the whole feeling of lust, whole feeling of desire will get over. Now, obviously, the practitioners of Tantra at that point of time mostly were men. So the whole idea of feminine beauty was more predominant. Does this mean that male beauty was not used? No, of course, male beauty was used. If you look at the story of Bhikshatana, in Bhikshatana story, Shiva, he goes to the Darukavana and he goes naked. And his form is described. including his private parts. Everything is described beautifully, as if each part, his body, his neck, his chest, the nipples on the chest, the line of hair going from there down up to the pubic area, all of it is described. And he walks naked. And what happens? All the Rishi Patnis, they start going around after him. And at the same time, what happened to the Rishis? He came down in the form of Mohini. So Vishnu took on the form of Mohini. We have seen, no, in Lalita Upakhyanam, that Vishnu prayed to Lalita, took 1/16th of her beauty and became Mohini. So Mohini, who can engage this entire world and delude it, is only 1/16th of the beauty of Devi. That Mohini, she walked past the Yagyashala, and all these rishis, they dropped their Angavastrams and they started running behind her. Then they discovered that their wives were running after one naked man. Now, very male chauvinistically, they started cursing the women, forgetting that they were also running after some woman. And they cursed Shiva, and they produced a small demon called Mara. And Mara came out from the sacrificial fire. Shiva stepped on him. They threw fire at him. He made the fire into a garland. They threw a snake at him. The snake became his Yagyopavitam. So all of this, and then he started dancing the Ananda Tandava. So in the Bhikshatana story also, there is a lot of male eroticism also. All of this was aimed at transcending, which is why if you go to Khajuraho, people get stuck outside. But the aim of all these depictions was, you have to leave this outside to go into the Garbhagriha. It is not inside the Garbhagriha, it is outside. So when you are going inside the Garbhagriha, you have seen it, you have understood it, and you have given it up, and you go inside. Similarly, in these two verses, there is a very detailed description of just the navel of Devi. Just the navel is being described, and in a very, very descriptive way. But we have to understand it from both the esoteric meaning and also a meaning in terms of saying it's a physical form that I am seeing, and it is of my mother. And that beauty entrances me, whether it is male, whether it is female, this male body or female body, I am actually male or female body only outside. Right? This is only the covering. Out of the 5 koshas, it is only the first kosha that you are seeing, the Annamaya kosha. Inside there are 4 more koshas, including the kosha of vasanas. Name pancha koshaha, he says. In his pure Advaitic work, he says, I am not the 5 koshas. So I have no gender. I always fight this with a lot of people who are extremely ritualistic, and then they will come and say, oh, how can a woman do that puja? How can a woman do this puja? What do you mean by a woman? Woman is an external feature. It has only been created at the outermost level. Peel off the skin, peel off the flesh. What is inside? The same bones, the same lungs, same heart. If I pull out a heart and I show it to Priya, who is a doctor, and I tell her, is it a male heart or a female heart? You will not be able to tell. Male lung or female lung, male kidney or female kidney. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa used to say, so he was tested once by Mathur Babu. Not by Mathur Babu, but people incited Mathur Babu to go and do a test. So Mathur Babu, you know, right? He was the son-in-law of Rani Rashmani, and he was the caretaker of the temple and the temple garden and all that. A very strong devotee of Sri Ramakrishna. He sent 2 prostitutes. Very beautiful prostitutes were brought from the city of Calcutta. And that time, Dakshineshwar was not part of Calcutta. It was a distant suburb. And they came inside. He looked at them and he went into Samadhi, without even knowing that they were prostitutes or not prostitutes. These ladies, they came and sat on his lap. They tried to arouse him. Nothing. He was like a wooden log. And they gave up and they started bowing down to him and went off. Later on, he himself, in his one of his sermons, he talks about this event. And he says that when they came in, I first saw that they were nothing but a bag of pus, mucus, stool, and urine. That is what we are. If we are identified with the body, if we are identified with the body, then what are we? We are nothing but a bag of pus, mucus, stool, and urine. And then he said, but inside that I saw the glowing form of my mother. And I went into samadhi. That essence is what all of the Soundarya Lahari is what is aiming at. So now let us start with the shloka. Verse number 77. Yadetat kalindi tanutara taranga kriti shive. Yadetat kalindi tanutara taranga kriti shive. कृषे मध्ये किंचित किंचित जननि तव यद्भाति सुधियाम् कृषे मध्ये किंचित जननि तव यद्भाति सुधियाम् यदेतत् कालिन्दी तनुतर तरंगाकृति शिवे कृषे मध्ये किंचित जननि तव यद्भाति सुधियाम् विमर्दादन्योन्यम् कुचकलशयोरन्तर्गतम् विमर्दादनोन्यम् कुचकलशयोरन्तर्गतम् तनुभूतं व्योम प्रविशदिव नाभिं कुहरिणीम् तनुभूतं व्योम प्रविशदिव नाभिं कुहरिणीम् विमर्दादन्योन्यम् कुचकलशयोरन्तर्गतम् तनुभूतं व्योम प्रविशद्दिव नाभिं कुहरिणीम् यदेतत् कालिन्दी तनुतर तरंगाकृति शिवे कृषे मध्ये किंचित जननि तव यद्भाति सुधियाम् विमर्दादनोन्य कुचकलशयोरन्तर्गतम् तनुभूतं व्योम प्रविशदिव नाभिं कुहरिणीम्. Let us do the word meanings. So just 1 second. So, sorry. So let us do the word meanings. Yad etat. This which is here. Yad etat. Kalindi. Kalindi means Yamuna. Yamuna, unlike the Ganga, does not have, in the upper reaches, all the rivers are the same. Kalindi, when we know it as Kalindi, where near the Vrindavan area, you will find that the river is very calm. It is a very calmly, gentle flowing river. Kalindi, Tanu, Tara, Taranga, Kriti. Tanu, on the body of Kalindi, on the surface of Kalindi, Tara, Taranga, Kriti. Super fine ripples, very fine ripples. Shive, Shiva's wife, Shive, Krishe Madhye, in the middle of in the middle of your slender, Krishe. Krishe is a slender middle part, near the waist. Kinchit, something. Janani, mother. Tava yat, this which is yours. Bhati sudhiyam. Bhati means illuminated. Bhati. We have seen the word bha earlier. Bhati sudhiyam. In the mind of sudhiyam means those who have good intellect. Those whose intellects are refined. Rishis. Vimardat anyonyam kucha kalasha yoho. Vimardat means having friction. Vimardat, there is a friction, there is a vibration. Anyonyam, being without, with single-mindedness, or rather with concentration. Kucha, pots. Kalashayoho, the two pots. Kalashayoho. Kucha is not pot, sorry. Kucha is the breast. kalashayoho, the two breast, pot-like breasts. Antargatam, the entering inside. Tanu bhutam vyoma. Now, if you see the word tanu, in the first line, we have tanu with a small ukar, which means form. It means form, or it means the shape. Whereas tanu, the with the dirgha u, it means, so tanu first. Sorry, the first tanu with the small u means small, minute, right? So small ripples, very fine ripples. And in the second one, we see tanu. Tanu here will mean body or form, person. So that is the meaning. So here we see tanu. So tanu bhutam vyoman. Tanu, body, bhutam, one of the elements, vyomam, space. Pravishad eva, as if entering. Nabhim, navel. Kuharinim, opening. Now, if you try to explain this directly, the meaning will be, it will say, oh auspicious mother, Shive. Shiva means auspicious. Shive, auspicious mother. There is something that is revealed at your slender waist. It looks like ripples on the surface of the river Kalindi. It is coming in the minds of all the rishis, in the minds of those whose intellects are refined, as space, which is entering into the cavity of your navel. This cavity itself is produced by the friction of your pot-like breasts. Now I want you to think about this and explain it. So if you look at the direct meaning, it is very inexplicable. It doesn't make any sense. But now, let us look at a different work, a very advaitic work I will take up here. Let us look at the work called Panchikaran. Panchikaran. Panchikaran is a work by Adi Shankaracharya, where he says how the five got created. Pancha means five. Karan means to create. Panchikaran. Panchikaran, how the five got created. Which five? All the five essential elements. The five Mahabhutas. What is the first thing that happened? Nad got created. How does Nad get created? How does sound get created? Science question. How does sound get created? You are on mute, Priya.
By two
Yeah, go ahead. By two
elements or something clashing, sound gets created.
Okay. Any other answer? Any other answer?
Vibration.
Perfect. Vibration.
Vibrations create sound beyond a
Correct.
certain frequency.
Correct. Now, what has happened? The two breasts are vibrating. What got created? Sound. What happened to that sound? It emanated through a black hole. The sound entered the black hole. Where is the black hole? In the navel. And from there, what emanated? Space. What are the rishis seeing when they are seeing that navel? No eroticism. They are seeing this world. Sorry. They are seeing this entire cosmos getting created from that sound. And where did that sound originate from? From her. From her. So that is the beauty. It is not about that navel and the beautiful woman and the slender waist and the navel which is round in shape and so on and so forth. Yes, all of it is there. But look at the description. Kuharinim, black hole. And what is entering into it? A frequency of sound. What is emanating from it? Tanu bhutam vyoman. Space is emanating. That form which is called space. And therefore, then rest of it is all grossification of space, isn't it? Rest of it is all grossification of space. You and I are occupying what? Space.
If
Everything
you
else.
actually, if you look at it, well, from the elements as well, and also the fact that as a mother, the navel is the place where we are all connected, no, to her.
Correct. Correct. So I was going to come to that. And therefore, what are we? Where are we? We are all connected to her. Where from? From that navel. She is, but you see, navel can only be there if she is born out of an umbilical cord and so on and so forth. She does not need any umbilical cord. See, somebody asked me a few days back, saying that what caused the first Big Bang? What caused the Big Bang? Now, traditional science, or traditional science meaning the science as we understand physics in whatever terms, quantum, particle, nuclear, whatever physics you want to go to, all of that cannot explain this. So if you ask somebody like Richard Feynman, or you ask somebody like even from the Einsteinian theorists, all of them will say, sorry, we don't know. Right? But if you go to Advaita, it says for anything to exist, it must have kala, rupa, and nimitta. Nimitta, causation. Right? The whole principle of causation arises only after the Big Bang. In the first milli microsecond after the Big Bang, the principle of causation arises. So the question of saying how or why did the Big Bang occur is a wrong question in itself. It's like asking, why don't you have two horns? Now, you can't have two horns. You are a human being. So the question itself becomes wrong. So causation begins with her. Causation begins with her. In the Devi Bhagavata Purana and the Kalika Purana, the first form in which she condenses, when Brahman decides and takes up the form as Trigunatmika. She is Trigunatita, correct? She is Trigunatita. And when she is Trigunatita, what is she? She is Brahman. She is identified with Brahman. There is no difference between Brahman and Parashakti. Her name is not Parashakti at that point of time. But when Brahman becomes Trigunatmaka, then it has to take a name and a form. Because guna, by definition, sattva, rajas, tamas together will make name and form. What is the name and form that is taken? It is the of the divine feminine. It takes the form of the divine feminine. That divine feminine is called Mahalakshmi. You have to go to Kolhapur to see her actual form. And you have to go early in the morning when they're doing the Abhishek. You will see a Shivalinga on her head. The Shivalinga, this is a formless thing, right? The Shivalinga is we are giving a form to something that is formless, indicating that she originated from that which is formless. She is not Mahalakshmi. People have started making this, very interesting thing. If you go to Tirupati, you have to go to Kolhapur because she is the wife of Tirupati over there. Balaji's wife is Padmavati. And Padmavati sits in Alamela Mangapuram. Kolhapur Mahalakshmi is Mahalakshmi. The people of Kolhapur themselves, they don't call her Mahalakshmi. They call her Ambabai. They call her Ambabai. Mother. She is the mother of everything. In that form, she holds a gada. She holds a Madhulinga, the Madhulinga fruit. She holds a pomegranate, dadimi fruit. She holds a kappar, a skull, the bottom of the skull as a bowl. This is not a form of Mahalakshmi, the calendar art Mahalakshmi, with two hands giving gold and whatever, right? And that is also Lakshmi. So it gets a bit confusing because of the same names. But the point is Mahalakshmi, Trigunatmika, What does she do? What is her first job? Her first job is this creation. And where does that creation come from? From Nada. Where is the Nada coming from? From the friction of her heavy breasts. What does the breast indicate? We have seen that in the last time. Motherhood. Right? A cow will give milk only when it has become pregnant. Nowadays they put injection. That is a separate thing. Yes, Priya, you wanted to say something.
Is there a connection between the chakras and the nabi from us towards all those
Uh,
energies which are there?
so we saw that in the first 40 verses when we were studying the rise of the Kundalini. We saw that, right? Up to your Nabhi are your lower chakras. And you have the major two granthis over there. The two major granthis are over there. Brahma Granthi and also the Vishnu Granthi. Right? Vishnu Granthi Vibedini. Brahma Granthi Vibedini. In the beginning part itself, we are seeing her rise. And she goes through the Brahma Granthi. Then she goes and sits down in the Swadhisthana Chakra. And then she crosses the Manipuraka Chakra with Vishnu Granthi Vibedini. And only then she goes to the Anahata Chakra. Kundalini is all the time moving. See, someday will let my Kundalini rise. If your Kundalini is not in your heart chakra, that energy is not there in your heart chakra, you will have no emotions. If your Kundalini is not in your Mooladhara chakra, you will not be able to excrete. Your bodily functions are functioning because there is energy. Energy is coming from food, it is coming from breathing, it is coming from the sun, it is there is energy. What happens is her predominant movement is in the lower three chakras. So what are we thinking of? We are all the time thinking of rest, food, sex. It is only when she penetrates through the Vishnu Granthi and she goes to the Anahata that some different things start happening. Till then, your daily living is also happening because of her only. Without her, that cannot happen. Are there chakras below that point? Yes, there are chakras below that point also. There are 6 lower chakras. You see, we are talk of the 7 chakras on the top. Bhur, Bhuva, Swaha, Maha, Jana, Tapa, Satyam. The 7 lokas, they are nothing but the 7 chakras in your body. But there are 7 chakras below. All the talas. Rasatala, Talatala, Patala, Vitala, all that. All those are below. So why does she not go down? She is blocked by Ganapati. The ruling deity of the Mooladhara chakra is Ganapati. In Atharva Shirsha, you say Mooladhare Stitosi Nityam. We say that, right, in the Atharva Shirsha. Mooladhare Stitosi Nityam. He lives in the Mooladhara. So his only function is to prevent her to go down. That is why Ganapati has to be worshipped.
That was what I was about to ask. That is why we do the Ganpati Puja before the Bhagavati.
Yes.
Okay.
So that is verse number 77. Very powerful verse. But it's very difficult to explain because at the direct physical level, it is completely meaningless. Breasts creating friction, something causing ripples, and that ripples are entering into the navel. It does not, physically, it does not make sense. And therefore, one has to meditate on each of these verses, which is what I keep saying. Each of these verses is a meditation on her powers, on her forms, on her play, all of it. It is all how she is here. So let us look at verse number 78. Any questions on this?
We need to study more.
You have to see what you have to do actually, Sitaji, is that you have to take up 1 or 2 verses only and do revision. When you keep doing this revision, how you do it is ideally you should go back, listen to the lecture, and then post that you use that lecture for your own meditation. And you have to come to your own truths, how you experience her. See, how I experience her is not how you will experience her. We will all experience according to our eyes, right? Krishna had to give Jnana Chakshu to Arjuna to be able to see the Vishwarupa. The rishis don't need that. The rishis close their eyes, and in the Gita Dhyana slokas, we say Dhyana Avastita Gatena, the Tadgatena, they see the Vishwarupa all the time. They don't need, their Jnana has awakened. So each of us perceives this entire world, which is all nothing but her, in various ways. I will go back to one very interesting incident that happened with Gurudev. I think I've said this before. So we were in Rishikesh, and he, it was 9 o'clock, and Vishnu Sahasranam, we were learning in the evening. We were doing Taittiriya Upanishad in the morning, we were doing Vishnu Sahasranam in the evening, and Vishnu Sahasranam was not being conducted by him. He would do the morning session and then leave. After that, we were in a camp. So there were other acharyas who were coming and doing the classes and so on and so forth. So those classes that they were doing, some explanation was given. There were 4 of us who got very, very involved in that discussion. And then if you have ever been to Rishikesh, you will know that there is a place called Tapovan Kutir. And as you enter into Tapovan Kutir, there is a small staircase. It is still left exactly like that. So that small staircase, you go up, and then there is a courtyard. On the front of the courtyard, there is Tapovanji's Kutir. On the left-hand side, there was another hut, which was Gurudev used to use when he was there. So we then saw that the light was on. So I suggested, "Chalo jaake Gurudev ko puchte hain." And they were saying, "Arey, raat ko 9 baj gaya hai." He said, "Light is on, no? Let us go and ask." There are very few people who have been as hardworking as him. Every letter used to be responded, and he was traveling. So the ashram, one of the things that mission used to do is the letters would come from God alone knows where. Then they would know as to, okay, Gurudev is in such and such place. All the letters would be forwarded over there, and then he would sit, and at night he would sit and write, and he would reply to everyone. Every letter has been replied. So such so he was sitting and writing letters. So just give me 1 second. So then we went up there. Then he knocked. We went inside. 2, 3 learnings happened in that interaction. That I'll come later. But he we gave him saying that 3 of us have 3 different meanings of this particular name in the Vishnu Sahasranam, which is right. So he looked very blankly without an expression, and he gave a 4th meaning. So now we are saying, okay, now there is a 4th meaning, and Gurudev has given this, so that is the right meaning. We were wrong. And he read that in our faces. And he said, no. What you have interpreted through your manan is right for you. Do not take anybody's word at face value without having done manan, cogitation, introspection on that. Whether it is day-to-day living, or whether it is studying scripture, or whether it is going to school, whatever. How much more incisive our mind can become. That is the training. See, spirituality does not make you a dull fool. It makes the intellect far more superior. It makes it far more incisive. So therefore, coming back to what you were saying, you must do manan. Just not reading and revising. Reading, revising, all very good. But you have to do manan. And when you do manan, you will experience her. In each of the verses, you will experience her. And each of your experiences may be different, which is perfectly all right. Let us go to verse number 78. Equally difficult verse. So in the 77th word, he brought in Kalindi. Now he brings Ganga. Sthiro Ganga Varta Stana Mukula Roma Valilata स्थिरो गङ्गावर्तस्तनमुकुलरोमावलिलता कलावालं कुण्डकुसुमशरतेजो हुतभुजः कलावालं कुण्डं कुसुमशरतेजो हुतभुजः स्थिरो वर्तस्तनमुकुलरोमावलिलता कलावालं कुण्डकुसुमशरतेजो हुतभुजः रते लीलागारं किमपि तव नाभिर्गिरिसुते रतेर्लीलागारं किमपि तव नाभिर्गिरिसुते बेलद्वारं सिद्धे गिरिशनयनानां विजयते बेलद्वारं सिद्धे गिरिशनयनानां विजयते रते लीलागारं किमपि तव नाभिर्गिरिसुते बेलद्वारं सिद्धेर्गिरिशनयनानां विजयते स्थिरो गङ्गावर्तस्तनमुकुलरोमावलिलता कलावालं कुण्डं कुसुमशरतेजो हुतभुजः रतेर्लीलागारं किमपि तव नाभिर्गिरिसुते बेलद्वारं सिद्धिर्गिरिशनयनानां विजयते. So again, it is about the navel. Let us see the meaning. Sthira Ganga Vartaha. Ganga Varta. Varta means whirlpool. Sthira Ganga Varta means as if see, I told you that Kalindi very still. It's a very still river. Whereas Ganga is a very turbulent river, right? Even at Rishikesh, where you just now have been, Lalita ji, you see suddenly it becomes wider, and at Haridwar you will again go back and you will see, and it has become very turbulent. It is all the time there is a turbulence until it has gone and merged with the Yamuna and become a little cooler, calmer. But even at Banaras, even during summer, you will find that the Ganga is always a little turbulent. Her nature is a little turbulent, right? If you remember the story, when she was coming with Bhagirath, she was jumping around, right? It is described that she was jumping behind his chariot and she saw Janu Muni sitting over there and his ashram. And what did she do? Very playfully, she destroyed the entire ashram. And Janu Muni drank her up. He said, now you go. I have consumed her. Then again, poor Bhagirath, he had to do all the tapasya to Janu Muni now. And he produced her from his ears, and therefore she got a name, Janhavi. Janhavi, right? So, her nature is turbulent. Here is a Sthira Ganga Varta. Two meanings it could be. One is that perpetually existing. Sthira means perpetually existing whirlpool. Or another meaning is as if that whirlpool in the Ganga has got frozen. So still photograph of a whirlpool. What will you see? You will see concentric circles. So what does the navel look like? It looks like a whirlpool with concentric circles in the Ganga. Right? Such beautiful, I mean, Adi Shankaracharya, there are no words to describe his greatness in terms of his poetry, in terms of the ability to link something so very physical to something so very spiritual. See, by describing a spiral and putting it on top of Ganga, you have immediately purified the thought. See, the thought, because Ganga by nature, even people say that even uttering the name of Ganga gives you moksha. Right? So, by putting the word Ganga here, automatically the mind has jumped. So, therefore, he says, Sthira Ganga Varta. Tana, the breasts. Mukula. Mukula means buds. Romavali Lata. Romavali Lata is the flower bed for the creeper. Romavali Lata. So, Roma Avali Lata. Stana Mukula. So there is, if you remember the earlier description, you have seen that thin line of hair which goes from her navel up to the breast. That is now being described as a line, which is the lata. And the buds, the flowers, are the breasts. Okay. Kalavalam kunda kushumashara tejo huta bhuja. Now, huta means to do sacrifice. Kusuma shara, flower arrows. Who is Kusuma shara? Kamadeva, correct. Right. Kamadeva is Kushuma shara. Right. Also, Lalita is Kushuma shara. Right. Panchatanmatra Sayaka. Right. She holds the five tanmatras in the form of five flowers. So Panchatanmatra Sayaka, she holds them, right? So then, so there, here, however, the reference is to Kamadev. And what is Kamadev doing? He is making offerings into that pit, which is the navel. Into the navel, he is making offerings. And what offerings? What is happening over there? Rati Leela Garam. Rati Leela Garam. Agara means residing place. Leela means play. Rati is his wife. Agar means you have, in those who are in Bombay, you know that bus depot. A depot is called Agar. Right? So Agar means depot. People understand as depot. No, Agar means residing place. So where the buses go and reside, that is the Agar. Right? Majas Agar, next to my house. So Majas Agar means the place where, in Majas, where the buses go and reside. Leela Agaram, the place where Rati plays. Rati, what happened with Rati? If you remember the Pandasura Lalita Upakhyanam, when Kamadeva was burnt, Kamadeva became Ananga, right? He lost his body. So he became Ananga. Kama was not destroyed, right? Desire was not destroyed. Deva was destroyed. The form in which he was destroyed. That form became ashes. Those ashes, his wife Rati, she cried over them, and the tears led to that ashes becoming a sort of a body to be formed, and that body became Andasura. Correct? We saw that. So Rati, what is her job? Her job is to wait for Kamadev. Rati means pleasure, right? Rati also means beauty, or multiple meanings. So therefore, Rati Leela Garam, Kim Api, and what not. Tavanabhir, in your navel, Giri Sute, daughter of the mountain. Bela, the verse is Bela Dwaram Siddhe Girisha Nayananam Vijayate. Bela Dwaram. Bela Dwaram. It is the eyes of Shiva, the cave for the austerities to bear fruit. Siddha Girisha Nayanam Vijayate. To the eyes of Shiva, the cave of austerities to bear the fruit. Vijayate, it reigns supreme. So, if you look at the direct meaning, O mountain-born woman, Girisute, your navel is supreme. It is like a stilled Gangetic whirlpool. It is the flower bed for your breasts. It is the flower bed for the creeper which bears your breasts. It is the sacrificial fire pit for Kama and for Rati as for her pleasure. But to the eyes of the mountain lord, it is the cave of his tapasya. Can you now see what he has done? He started by first physically describing, saying that it is like flowers and a bed from which the creeper is rising. Correct? But for Kamadeva, what is it? It is the sacrificial pit, which means desires will get absorbed into that. When the desires get absorbed, you get the highest amount of pleasure. It is, you see, this is in from Day by Day with Bhagavan. One day, Maharshi asked this question. Somebody mentioned that I was looking for something and he found it. I don't remember the exact context here, but I was looking for something, I found it, and I'm now very happy. So Maharshi asked the question, why did you feel happy when you got that? Say, for example, you are looking for or wanting a shepherd's pen, or you are wanting to buy a Mercedes car, or you are wanting to buy whatever. Why do you feel happy when you get it? So obviously, the person did not have an answer. He kept going back to saying, "Oh, because I got it, because I got it." No, no, because you got it, you became happy. Can't be. Because then that person who gave it to you is becoming sad. So the happiness cannot be in that thing. Right? For that matter, that person, if he is selling a Mercedes car, he is actually very happy when it goes away, rather than when it is staying with him. Isn't it? So the happiness is not in the object. So where did that happiness come from? Maharshi explains that, you see, your nature is happiness, but it is covered with the taranga of desires. The waves of desire conceal and prevent the happiness to come forth. But when the desire got met for a momentary point, the desire stilled. When the desire stilled, happiness burst forth automatically. You don't have to do any effort to be happy. I mean, I actually say this. To become sad, you have to actually take an effort. You have to think about bad things. I mean, the thoughts will come, but you have to think about them. Correct? But you stop thinking about the bad things, you will automatically, naturally become happy, no? Because that is your natural state. So the moment that chitta vritti stopped, nirodha, chitta vritti nirodha, your Patanjali says. The chitta vritti, the moment it happened, that nirodha happened, automatically you became blissful. That is why he says yoga chitta vritti nirodha. That's how he explains it. So therefore here, when the desires are put into the sacrificial pit, then pleasures become multifold. You get more pleasure, because what is the highest pleasure? The highest pleasure is that of called ananda. See, ananda is a nirvikalpa word. Nirvikalpa means without any substitute. No vikalpa. Right? No viparita artha shabda. If I say sukha, what is the viparita artha shabda of sukha? Dukkha. Grishma, sheet. Urdhva, adha. You take any word, there will be an opposite to it. There are very few words, they have no opposites. One of them is ananda. Ananda opposite, nirananda. No, you are using ananda to describe nirananda. Give me an opposite word. Not ananda cannot mean opposite of ananda. Similar, therefore, you are getting the highest pleasure. And, however, if you are Shiva, then what you see in that cavern over there is your cave of tapasya. So Shiva, that is you and I, what we should be seeing, it is the focal point for all our tapasya. And we, as Shiva, concentrate on that, enter into that cavern and become tapasvis. That is the meaning of this verse. Such a powerful verse. Right? He again takes it from the physical description, whirlpool, to a physical description of the body, lotus stem rising from a pond, to the lotus buds on top, from there as a sacrificial pit. So it's a deep navel. So there is a sacrificial pit, like a sacrificial pit, in which and he uses kusuma shara. What are the 5 arrows that he holds? The arrows are nothing but mada, moha, etc., isn't it? Those arrows, if you go to Kamadeva's iconography, the 5 arrows that he holds, they are all the 5 types of unmada that we have. So he can make you mad. He can make you deluded. Those are these arrows. And those are the arrows that he is offering. He is offering moha. He is offering unmada. He is offering matsarya. All of that is being offered. And therefore, pleasure is arising. Because the more you become purified, the more you become ready to accept Ananda. And now you are ready to become Shiva and look at that cavern as your tapasya ground. And you concentrate on that cavern alone, and you are ready to be a tapasvi.
Biladwara means cavern.
Belad,
Biladwara. Bilad.
no, Belad, it's Belad Dwaram. Belad Dwaram. Not a Dilad Dwaram, it's Belad Dwaram.
So the desire should be actually for the ultimate. But that is also
Yes.
then a desire.
Yes, of course. So you'll have to go back to what my example that I always say.
Rasagulla.
No, not Rasgulla. This is the pole vaulter. Think of the pole vaulter. The pole vaulter, he wants to cross that particular line. Now, he cannot jump unless he has the tools for it. But if I get attached to the pole and I refuse to let go, I will fall back on the same side. So you let go, and it will automatically happen as you practice more and more and more and more. You will let go. When you go to a realized master, you will realize that these people, they don't even have the desire to be free because they have realized that they are free. Now, if you are already free, if you are already full, let us say that you have eaten 6 rotis with Srikhand and all the other sweet things that in a normal Guju house you will get. You have eaten all of that, and now I tell you that will you eat more food? What will you do? You obviously say no. Are you feeling hungry? No. No, but take some food. No, no. I have no desire for food because I am full. Such a person, he has realized that he is full. Now you can't feed him anything. But till he was not full, which means there was identification with the body, with the mind, with the intellect, you were not full. Till that time, you use the tools. And they are tools. In Adhyasa Bhashya of Adi Shankaracharya, in the Adhyasa Bhashya is the preface to Brahma Sutra. He actually calls the Vedas as lower knowledge. He calls the Vedas as lower knowledge because they are also tools for transcending. And the living proof of that is Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. Completely unlettered, right? He never went to school. He did not go to a Sanskrit school. He did not go to they are called tolls in Bengal. He didn't go to a toll to learn. He went for the very basics. He used to run away from school. And despite that, the highest Vedantic truths in common language were coming from him as if from a fountain. So now let us go back to Yoga Meenakshi.
Anna, 1 minute. You were giving the example of the pole vaulting. So, what is the pole referred to?
The tools that you are using for wanting to transcend. So the desire is there, yes. And that is nothing wrong with that desire. So again, to quote Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, somebody went and told him, you are mad. Right? He used to sing and dance and do all that. So somebody went and told him, you are mad. Then of course I am mad. 100%. I am absolutely mad. You are also mad. You are mad after women and money. I am mad after my mother. Just a different type of madness. And you can choose which madness is better for you. Decide which madness is better. The one that is better, you choose. And I mean, obviously, this is a better madness. Okay. सुषुम्नान्तरन्ध्रे सहस्रारपद्मे सुषुम्नान्तरन्ध्रे सहस्रारपद्मे रविन्द्वग्निसंयुक्तचिच्चक्रमध्ये रवीन्द्रग्निसंयुक्तचिच्चक्रमध्ये सुषुम्नान्तरन्ध्रे सहस्रारपद्मे रवीन्द्रग्निसंयुक्तचिच्चक्रमध्ये सुधामण्डलस्थे सुनिर्वाणपीठे सुधामण्डलस्थे सुनिर्वाणपीठे सदा सचरन्ती भजे पाण्ड्यबालाम् सदा सचरन्ती भजे पाण्ड्यबालाम् सुधामण्डलस्थे सुनिर्वाणपीठे सदा सचरन्ती भजे पाण्ड्यबालाम् सुषुम्नान्तरन्ध्रे सहस्रारपद्मे रवीन्द्राग्निसंयुक्तचिच्चक्रमध्ये सुधामण्डलस्थे सुनिर्वाणपीठे सदा सञ्चरतीं भजे पाण्ड्यबालाम्. The first word, sushumna, you have to be careful of the pronunciation. The sha has to be clearly pronounced. Otherwise, it becomes shushumna. Shushumna is not the right pronunciation. Sushumnantarandhre. Randhra means it means a hole. Sushumna is a nadi. Is a nadi. We have 72,000 nadis in our body. Of them, there are some which are very important. Of those which are important, there are 3 which are extremely important. Of these 3 that are extremely important, one which is the most important is called Sushumna. It is the channel of direct rising of the energy to the 7th chakra in our body system. So then, Sushumnandrandre. So it goes through the whole of Sushumna to reach where? Sahasrara Padme, to the 1,000-petaled lotus. Right? We have seen the description of all the Devis that are sitting in each of these
Yes, Lalita
chakras in
Sahasranamam.
the Lalita Sahasranamam.
Yes.
Right? Around the 450 plus to 500, we have seen the Devis. And at the Sahasrara, she is Sarvodana Prita Chitte. She accepts all types of annam. Right? She is decorated with all types of ayudhas. She is decorated with all types of varnas. Because over there, she has become everything. So that Sushumnarandhre Sahasrara Padme. Ravi, Indu, Agni, Ravindvagni. Ravindvagni means Ravi, Indu, Agni. She has 3 eyes. The 3 eyes indicate the sun and the moon and Agni. Right? So, the 3 eyes, Ravindra Agni Samyukta, Chit Chakra Madhye. Chit Chakra is a sandhi. It basically is Chit Chakra Madhye. Chit Chakra is Sri Chakra. And earlier we had seen she is the Bindu. She is the center of the Sri Chakra. So that Chit Chakra Madhye. Sudha Mandalaste. Sudha is meaning of is Amrita. If you have attained her, she is in the form of Amrita. She is the one who gives immortality. What is immortality? Immortality is not immortality of the body. Right? People do japa of Mrityunjaya mantra when somebody falls ill. That has nothing to do with your body falling ill. Vyammakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivartanam urvarukam vibandhanan mrityurmukshiyamamritat mrityurmukshiyamamrita. If I pray to Shiva, I will be freed from death. No, that can't be. Then nobody should have died. That is not the meaning. Mrityurmukshiyamamritat means year of death needs to go away. Because I realize that I am nothing but the eternal. I am the eternal. Aham Brahmasmi. And therefore, that is what is being said. Sudha Mandalaste. Sudha Mandala Madhye. She is one who is in Amrita. And therefore, what should you do? You should dive into her. You should dive into her. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa asked once to Vivekananda, if you were a bird and you had to go and drink from the ocean of nectar, from a lake full of nectar, what would you do? He said, I would go to the side and I would sip the nectar from the edges. And he said, you fool, it is Amrita, you cannot die, jump into it. Jump into it. So she is Amrita. Sudha Mandalaste. Sunirvana Pite. The nirvana means not burning. Vana means burning. Nirvana means not burning. Sunirvana means never burning. She does not go through this. Anybody who has gone to this Pita does not get into the burning of this endless cycle of birth and death. Endless cycle, right? Our favorite treadmill verse is there, no? Punarapi Jananam. So that endless cycle you get rid of. Then he says, Sada Sancharantim. Sada, she is all the time moving. What does this mean? See, everything that you see around you has movement in it. Even a stone. It appears to be still. Its rate of movement is slower than what you are perceiving, but it is also moving. Everything that is moving, everything that is around you, that is nothing but she. Bhaje Pandyabalam. Let us close for the day. Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Shri Matre Namaha.